They say 4 wheels move the body and 2 wheels move the soul. So what do you think 3 wheels move? At this point, I'm pretty sure you know of the existence of this strange and yet awesome thing. This is the Yamaha Niken, and if you haven't seen it lurking in the shadows, it's pretty quick and easy to explain why it gets so much attention. It has 2 wheels up front and 1 wheel back here. However, it can lean like a motorcycle. Whether it appeals to you or not, it definitely leaves you with an endless string of questions. But why? But how? But for who? Even I thought that I would hate the concept of a 3-wheeled motorcycle, because I generally hate any concept that isn't traditional, like an electric motorcycle for example, just on principle. But because this is so intriguing, I'm genuinely excited that Bike USA magazine got me some time with this Niken. Don't forget that it's a new month and my new column is out in Bike USA magazine. So if you can't ride to the store to get one, I'll leave a link to the digital copy down in the description below. Although you can spend hours just staring at it, trying to figure out what it is, a quick tour helps answer some of the basic questions. It has got to be the most Japanese looking bike that has ever come out of Japan. And I actually really appreciate that, because usually they don't share too much of that in their designs. From certain angles, you might not even be able to tell that it has 3 wheels. And you don't really realize on camera just how wide this bike actually is. You kind of expect it on the front because of the 2 wheels, but you kind of expect it to get a little slimmer towards the rear like a regular bike. However, it just doesn't. It's wide at the tank, the seats are insanely wide, and then they didn't seem to think that the rear was wide enough with the little MT-09's taillight, so they put the widest turn signals they could find in the factory on it. It has a lot of strange angles, but the strangest one for me has got to be the tank, because it's pretty much seamless, all the way from the tank all the way to the front. It is so long that you can't even reach the mirrors to adjust them when seated and riding. And even the Yamaha badge isn't where you'd expect to find it on the tank. It's over here above the wheel arch. Yes, a motorcycle with a wheel arch. I didn't think I'd ever see it either, but it actually makes it look pretty beefy. Filming with this bike was a challenge, because every time I stopped for just a few minutes, a crowd would gather to have a look. And even though it was too wide to lane split in most cases, it was still enjoyable, because everyone who noticed it in traffic snapped their necks trying to figure it out. My entire time with it was a brilliant experience. It's insanely heavy when trying to paddle it backwards or push it around, leaving me wishing for a reverse gear. In fact, if it didn't have the monkey bars on the back, I probably would have dropped it. But the minute you set off, the weight is left behind. It falls from side to side, arguably easier than a regular bike. Within a few minutes, you feel at home on it and start to misbehave, because there's a sense of safety with the extra stability up front, easing your worries of a slight rear slide. I absolutely love how every design aspect on this bike is completely different. And if you don't like it, I think it's probably just because you've never seen anything like it. New vehicle designs are often disliked at first, but can sometimes grow on you later on. The front wheels are actually 15-inch and not 17-inch like a regular bike or the back wheel. It also has this single-sided mounting design, which looks really cool from the inside and would be pretty interesting to try and take a wheel off, not to mention to try and get tires to fit these wheels. We also have 2 forks on each side. The forward fork, as far as I know, is just oil, helping with steering and rigidity. The back one deals with everything you're familiar with, meaning suspension, and is adjustable at both ends. But does that mean that if a fork seal ever went, you would have to replace 4? There's a brace in the middle of the 2 forks, and at the bottom the axle goes between the 2. So we have double the wheels, double the forks, double the weight, double the contact patch, even double the mud guards. So that means that the only thing up here that hasn't been doubled is the braking. We still just have 1 disc and 1 caliper, 1 for each wheel, which does mean that you would like just a little bit more stopping power under braking. But to help ease your worries slightly, there is a massive rear brake disc back here. The dash is big enough for a 46-inch TV, which makes this little LCD look pretty insignificant. However, this area is insanely neat the way they've routed all the cables, and the dash does tell you everything you need to know, from fuel level, gear indicator, riding modes, traction control modes, and it does have that signature Yamaha shape. The controls on the handlebars are absolutely beautiful, just like you would expect from a new Yamaha. But what's strange is that you can change the riding mode from the handlebar, but if you want to play with your traction control settings, you have to go over to the dash itself. And an awesome thing that I didn't expect to find on a bike like this is the quick shifter. If that doesn't reassure you that this is a fun bike to ride, I don't know what will. You can't help but weave down the road on it because it's such a soothing motion. I think it could even be used as a training tool to teach riders to trust the front end of a motorcycle, because that's exactly what it did for me. So it's clearly not aimed at beginners, because it can't hold itself up, meaning you still need to know how to ride a motorcycle. It has the loved MT-09's 850 triple, which is probably a bit much for a beginner. And it costs a lot more than a beginner would consider affordable. But I don't think that it could effortlessly slip into your current motorcycle setup either, because there might be a few awkward moments. Like, picture the first time you try to put it on your front paddock stand. What if you want to trailer it somewhere? How do you get it up the ramp of a traditional trailer? What if you take it to the track and want 3 tire warmers for it? You're gonna be looked at like a madman in a bike shop asking for 3 tire warmers. I mean, in all honesty, none of this matters in the slightest, but it still amuses me to think about. Especially because it's not 100% aimed at you and I in any case. It's not aimed at motorcycle fanatics that get their fix on a 2-wheel, 200 horsepower bike trying to get as low and as fast as possible. It's aimed at those people that I know we've all encountered, claiming that, "I think I would kill myself on a motorcycle." Or, "Aren't you scared?" Yamaha is in the business of selling motorcycles. So, by offering a vehicle that can give off the feel and adrenaline of a traditional motorcycle, but can also promise to be a bit safer and lower the chance of you falling off, they will sell more bikes and target a bigger market, getting more people into the motorcycle industry, which is a good thing for us bike addicts. But anyway, this has got to be the strangest motorcycle that I've ever ridden, and probably the strangest motorcycle that I'm gonna ride for quite some time. But I would definitely recommend that you go out and give one a try. I don't think that I want one in my garage just yet, but it's definitely worth a ride on one because they are huge fun. So thanks again to Bike USA Magazine for organizing the Niken for me, and thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button for strange motorcycles, and I'll see you on the next ride.